What's going on, guys? It's DeeCee, and I'm bringing you my 5 most confident bets for UFC Louisville. This is a sketchy card in terms of betting, in terms of picking favorites and whatnot. I think it's probably one of the most difficult ones we've had this year. So bear with me, and we're going to go through the prop route. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Andrew Lee by decision plus 130. Now, I know in my breakdowns I said Andrew Lee is a risky prediction, low confidence, but this is purely for the number. You're taking her from a minus 160 favorite to a plus 130, plus money bet on her most likely key to victory. I don't think she's going to finish Montana. I mean, and what's Andrea Lee's finish rate? She's got 5 by submission and 3 by KO. And those are all quite a while ago. She hasn't gotten a KO in 5 fights, and the last one was Cynthia Calvillo, and that was because Calvillo quit. And I don't see Montana finishing Andrea Lee. Montana in her 21 fights has only got 1 KO and 8 submissions. But if you look at her record, they have not been in like the last 5 years. The last one was Ariane Lipsky because she grounded out, but I don't think Andrea Lee is going to get grounded out by Montana. And if we're thinking Lee's going to win, decision's probably a better look. So yeah, taking that from minus 160 all the way to plus 130, it's a given. Then we got Eduarda Mora versus Denise Gomes, not to go the distance, at minus 140. I mean, you've got 2 polar opposite styles here, and they're going to clash, and someone's likely going to get served. I think Mora's got a huge advantage on the ground, and Denise Gomes got a huge advantage on the feet in the striking department. So, I mean, we saw last fight, Eduarda Mora, she can finish her opponent. She finished her opponent on the Contender Series as well. And Denise Gomes knocking out Yaragui, knocking out Bruna Brazil. It's a volatile fight, and I think instead of picking a side, just pick this prop here. Minus 140 is a good number as well. You can parlay it up with someone like Brad Katona if you want, just to make it plus money. But I think you can't go wrong in this one here. And if it goes decision, so be it. Betting should not be your livelihood. Should not be betting your entire bankroll on any fight. It should be something that you enjoy as well. Okay, so just have fun with betting. Don't just make it your life, please. Next up, Brad Katona versus Jesse Butler. Fight doesn't go to decision. This is on the basis of Katona finishing Jesse Butler, but it's actually the same price tag. If you get Katona inside the distance, it's still plus 160. So why not take the fight, not go the distance in case he gets an injury or Butler somehow like randomly bonks him, which I highly doubt it. But yeah, I know Katona's not a finisher. We all know Katona's not a finisher. But I'm looking at the Jesse Butler side. And then you might be like, yeah, but his stats don't really show that he gets finished either. But trust me, guys, when I say he got served by Jim Miller, he did. He got served in the first 30 seconds. And then if you look at the regional tape, please, he is getting in these horrible positions by these regional fighters that are like 40 years old. If there was anyone higher level than them, they would have finished him in an instant. He's getting hurt. He's getting nearly submitted, nearly choked out by these really low level fighters. I mean, I think Katona is going to come out here with some emphasis, and a chip in his shoulder because he lost that close decision last fight, and he has to prove himself. If he can't finish someone like Jesse Butler, then it's a bit of a concern, and it kind of indicates that we've seen the ceiling of Katona, because you can't keep winning decisions. Doesn't get you far enough in the UFC, and we've seen that time and time again. You can't rely on these judges. So plus 160 for the fight not to go the distance. Yeah, I think it's a steal, and we're never going to get this this likelihood of Katona finishing someone ever again. So yeah, we're going to take this one here. Next up, Dustin Jacoby versus Dominic Reyes. Fight not to go the distance as well. I told you guys, I don't like any straight picks this card, so we're going to go with the props. Minus 175 for this fight, which I think is going to be a stand-up war, and I think someone's going to get served. I mean, we've seen in our last 3 fights of Dominic Reyes, he's just been knocked out constantly. And yeah, it's against top-level competition, but still, he's taking damage. He's getting wobbled. that damage he took in the Yuri Prohaska fight, as you can see from the image, was insane, and I can't believe he got wobbled that many times. But in saying that, he also wobbled Yuri a ton of times, and he has a lot of power himself. And we've seen from Justin Jacoby, he has been knocked down quite a few times in his past couple of fights. Alonzo Menifield, whenever Alonzo Menifield connected with him clean, he got sent to the floor. Even in the Azmat fight, he got hurt a few times. But Jacoby also has power. He hurt Menifield himself. And where else did he hurt someone? He knocked out Kennedy Nchukwu in like the first minute. And Duwon Jong, he knocked out as well. So Jacoby has power, and it's a sneaky power because he's quite accurate. So it's more precision rather than power, but he can hurt his opponents. So I think this fight not going the distance is a good piece. You can parlay it up, I think, or you can play it straight. Minus 175 is not too steep, and yeah, I think it's a solid piece. Finally, we're going to end it with a parlay. Who doesn't love a parlay? I personally enjoy making multis. I think it's like a lot of people don't like it because you've got to rely on so many pieces to get the end result. But I think it's a bit more safer in terms of you don't have to expend so much of your bankroll on it. So first one being Andrew Lee and Montana De La Rosa to go to the distance, minus 325. Like I said before, I don't think either fighter is finishing each other. And yeah, the only finish I could ever see is if Montana De La Rosa grounds out Andrew Lee. I don't think Lee's going to knock out Rosa. But even then, we didn't see it in the first fight. We haven't seen it in ages. And yeah, I think that's a pretty safe piece. Punahele Soriano versus Miguel Baeza. We've seen fight not to go the distance, by the way, minus 280. I think this is the best parlay piece in the card. Minus 280 is steep to play straight, but it's a perfect parlay piece because we've seen Baeza get hurt in his past couple of fights and knocked out. But we've also seen him knock out quite a few people and submit people. He's got the submissions as well. Soriano, we all know he's got a bomb in the first round. He smashes people in the first round, but he falls off a cliff and he can get hurt and he gets gassed, and he's coming down a weight class. We normally see that fighters that come down weight classes have less of a gas tank because they're focusing on their diet more than their cardio and their strength and conditioning. And yeah, I think either Soriano gets the bonk in the first round or Baeza finishes him in the following two. Could be a submission, it could be a KO. I think Baeza gets the finish, but we're covering Soriano's side. Last one, we got Zachary Reese versus Marquez. I mean, this is a given. Zachary Reese hasn't escaped the first round, I believe. We saw last fight that he latched onto that triangle, as you can see in that image, against Brundage straight away, really fast. It was quite impressive. But then he got slammed and he got KO'd, and his chin's way up as well. So, and then we know Marquez, he's a first round war machine. He has taken a lot of damage his past two fights, got knocked out in both of them, and he also finds finishes late. In that Marco Pitolo fight, kept on searching for the finish, even though he's getting dominated in the wrestling department, but found the finish in the third round with Anaconda. So I think all three of these are very likely. The riskiest one I would say is probably the neither. None of them. I don't think any of them are too risky. You can probably chuck in Brad Katona in there if you want to remove one of them. But yeah, I think all of them are safe to play, and I think that's a juicy parlay that you can put together. And that's it. That's it. It's a sketchy card, guys. Don't chuck away your whole bankroll on this one because it's not. I was so confident in the last UFC 302. Yeah, Islam versus Poirier. I was way more confident in my picks and my bets. But this one, you know, sometimes you have to go down the prop route. I think in front of a live crowd, there's always a higher chance of finishes happening, even though last week's card was the complete opposite. There were so many decisions, so it was really boring, to be honest. But yeah, I think this card's going to be a reverse. I think there's going to be a lot of finishes besides Andrew Lee. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that one, and I'll catch you later for next week's video. Ciao.